Hello, everyone. Welcome to Closet Coaching. I want to talk today about hunger and fullness cues. Because if you have a history of an eating disorder or disordered eating or chronic dieting, which is kind of disordered eating, your hunger and fullness cues will be sometimes all over the place, sometimes non-existent, sometimes imbalanced in that you experience one but not really the other, or just really sporadic and not predictable, not typical, normal hunger and fullness cues. And so it becomes very difficult to try to get on some sort of intuitive eating path because there's so much, it sounds like there's so much emphasis on hunger and fullness cues. And you may feel like, mine are so dysregulated that I just, first of all, what's wrong with me? And second of all, how do I work with this? So the first thing I want to say is that it's very normal for hunger and fullness cues to be dysregulated after so many months or years of being suppressed, like hunger often getting suppressed in favor of the rules, and fullness being overridden in the case of binge eating. So it takes time for those things to develop. And this is one of the reasons why the advice of just listening to your body is really simplistic and not actually helpful in the beginning of a journey if those cues for you are if you don't really understand them or they're not regulated, because you can't really listen to your body and your mind is going to take over in the form of either restriction or binging. So we have to kind of reverse engineer and implementing one of the strategies for recovery being implementing meal patterns so that your body becomes it starts to rely on the feeding times so that it can start to understand what a regulated hunger pattern looks like. And that takes time to develop. And the other thing I want to say about this is that my hunger cues were intact long before my fullness cues were. They did not come together. I could not get fullness. I could not understand it except in extreme states for a long time. And it came, and I totally understand them now in nuances, but I couldn't at first. And that's also normal, especially if you've been a binge eater and you're used to really expanding your stomach to the point of real discomfort all the time. You're not going to necessarily understand. And same for restriction, because you're only going to understand extreme hunger and then extreme fullness. It's a process, and I guess that's the point. It's a process, and yes, you can correct it. So yeah, that's it. I will see you back on Friday. Tomorrow my kids have off, so do I.